Let's talk about vignettes. Now, as you were reading The House on Mango Street, you might have noticed that it doesn't read like a traditional novel. The entries are short, they're choppy, and they're packed with a lot of information. You might, in fact, even say that they read a little bit like poetry. Now, I know not everybody enjoys poetry, right? You read a poem and then you have to read it again and you have no idea what it's about. And then you break it apart, you look at every single word and syllable, and then you get, okay, I know what the author is saying. Why didn't they just say that? Right? We understand that it's valuable to break it apart, to do a little bit of digging. And that's exactly what's going to be happening as we read The House on Mango Street. Now, take heart in the fact that The House on Mango Street isn't poetry. It just reads a little bit like poetry because it uses really rich descriptive language, and partly because it doesn't tell a story straight through from beginning to end. Instead, the chapters are a series of vignettes. All right, so what is a vignette? Think about them this way. Let's say you're talking with a friend when a Volkswagen drives by, and that makes you think of this epic punch bug battle that you and your brother had in the backseat of your parents' car, and that was on the way to Disney World. And in fact, that reminds your friend of the year she and her sister dressed up like Disney princesses for Halloween, which makes you think about that time that you were a stormtrooper. You wore that costume every day for like a month when you were 5. Now, all of these scenes that you and your friend keep talking about to each other, those are vignettes, short episodes that capture a moment in time. We're leaving out the larger story and just focusing on little moments. And that's what we're going to find in The House on Mango Street. Each chapter is a vignette. It reveals a little bit more about our narrator, Esperanza, and a little bit more about the neighborhood. But these vignettes aren't straightforward stories. So, just kind of like poetry, you have to dig a little bit to figure out what's going to be revealed. All right, here's an example. In the chapter Mimi Ortiz, Esperanza tells us an awesome story, but it takes place in only 3 sentences. This is the tree we chose for the first annual Tarzan jumping contest. Mimi won and broke both arms. There's a lot going on, right? Only 3 sentences, but can't you just picture the whole scene in your head? You've got a group of kids and it's a lazy summer afternoon, and then somebody comes up with the idea of a Tarzan jumping contest. Then Mimi, he jumps out of this enormous tree and breaks both of his arms. And then imagine the hospital visit, right? Think about how mad his mom is going to be. Think about what the other kids probably said. Do you think there was a second annual Tarzan jumping contest? So it's amazing to see how Cisneros packs so much detail into just a few short sentences. Now, it may look simple, but it takes a lot of thought and creativity to communicate a lot of information in a small amount of words. It's a great skill to possess as a writer. So that's what you're going to try to do. Now, you're going to be as creative as you want, but you are going to write your own vignette. That means it's a short, itty bitty, super short narrative. That means it has a whole story. We're looking for 3 to 5 sentences and no more than 100 words. Here's an example: for sale, baby shoes, never worn. 6 little words, but huge emotion, big impact. There is an entire story here. So you're going to do the same with your own vignette, as small as you can. See how much you can pack, right? There is no limit to what your narrative can tell.